Good evening mga kalaro and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro lang channel where Sport Titos talk about a different kind of game. The reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades. Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Percon, and with me as always is Vice Chief Bisdak Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
Hey, now with all new music.
Right. With all new music made by Vice Chief Bisdak Jao himself. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Trying to get that tribal. That way we don't get dinged by YouTube's copyright.
Yeah. That way we can monetize. if ever you get to the critical mass, hopefully we get there. All right. So anyway, for this episode of the Council of Titos, we are giving our thoughts about episode 3 of Survivor Season 42 entitled Go for the Gusto. The Council is going to give their highlights and lowlights for the episode, as well as their thoughts and predictions for the upcoming episodes. And we're going to show you later. We also have a new segment. We're going to tell you all about it later. But before that, let's go to our highs. Jao, what were your highs for this episode?
I'm still high on high.
There you go. Still high on
high.
Now
more than ever, no? More than ever. I mean, they how he and Lydia went from the bottom or pretty much on the outs of the tribe to like in the position of power, which I guess also has it's like corollary low to it. Which who was it that said it? One of the podcasters, former Survivor, Rick Devins, called it like some of the worst overall gameplay ever for an episode that put my boy high right on top. You know?
So Devins is also on high, or you're saying are you paraphrasing what Devins said?
Basically what he said, and this is a direct quote: worst overall gameplay ever for an episode.
Ooh, who was he alluding to? Was he alluding to Daniel?
Daniel and Chanel.
Oh, wow. We will talk about that a little bit more later during the lows. But now, let's talk about high. What else? What in your own thoughts? For your own thoughts, what made you get even higher on high for this episode?
Because he looked so confused. He looked so confused and on the outs, like, where did all the votes go? But like, despite that, managing to sort of compute everything on the fly and be able to come out of a negotiating position, having all the power in the tribe, more or less, right? Like, okay, that's very good gameplay.
Yeah,
I guess
Yeah, and I will have to say that this episode, it really gave me as a viewer, because I wasn't really high on high, but it really gave me that idea that high is a very perceptive power player, right? I mean, even before the tribal council, even before tribal, when Chanel came in and tried to convince him to split the votes, you already saw that like high was like, something's not adding up. Why is she all of a sudden very jittery when she's always so cool?
Right? Yeah,
that was so. And I think that the episode really made it a point to show that side of high. And then we go into tribal. We go into Daniel's whatever he was trying to do as a super fan. And then he started with that premise of I don't want to go to rocks, right? And then High had this thing where I don't know if it was just the edit. It probably was. They just wanted to play up High. But if you noticed that part when Daniel was looking towards Chanel, and then Chanel was whispering Lydia, they had High right before that. They had High looking in that direction. I mean, it's hard not to because he's on the end of the line, so he'd always have to look there. But they made it a point to show High looking in that direction to see some interaction between Daniel and Chanel. So again, it added to him being perceptive, right? And then you got Daniel saying he's not gonna draw rocks. The vote comes out. only 4 votes are made. Wow, that was a first, right? That was a first in Survivor. Um, and and power move. That was such a power move for me when it came to the negotiation in the end. It was
Yeah.
such a power move for High. It was such a power move for High, telling Daniel, because it was down to the two of them, right? It was down to the two
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
While Chanel and Mike still could have a say, and even probably Jenny and Lydia still had sort of a say. Only it was left to Daniel and High to vote. And then High with a power move, because Daniel said he's a super fan. He doesn't want to go to Rocks as early as this the day 7, right? But High goes and like, no, I have to protect my ally. I'm willing to go to Rocks. That was
Yeah.
such. He was playing chicken. He was playing chicken with Daniel, and Daniel chickened out basically, right? Oh,
So, sort of thinking about the numbers there, though, it was something that really made sense for High,
mhm.
um, because of there were it was 4-2,
Yeah.
right? It was basically 4-2,
Uh-huh.
um, and it was something like the the group of Daniel had a 3-4. If they went to Rocks,
Mm.
Daniel's group had a 3-4 chance of losing a number, whereas if it went to Rocks, High only had like a 1-4 of losing a number.
And that number would have been him.
Yeah, and that number would have been him, and that was probably totally fine.
Mhm.
So like Daniel had more to lose going to Rocks than High, which is what
Mhm.
made it, which is I guess what made it sort of work for him,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Because if it went to Rocks, that's between Daniel, High, Chanel,
And
and
Mike.
Mike,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, so like and there's there's the bigger chance that Daniel loses a number.
Yeah. 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 That's true. That's true. That's exactly true. Um.
So like being able to run that in
Yeah.
that high pressure situation was something that was like, yeah, this guy's good. This guy is good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm starting to get on the high road. Wow. Puns
Oh,
galore. I'm
I like
I'm
this.
going on the high road. But yeah, for now, yeah, it because this episode really put him front and center. We've seen him in the previous 2 episodes. He had to go through that emotional crisis, right?
Yeah,
Having to go against his beliefs as a vegan, and then now he's showing that he's got something to give, and he's probably. I think that Jenny said it right. In her right, yeah, she said it. Look out for High. He might be
yeah,
slitting all your throats in the end, right? Even Jenny acknowledges the wit of High, like right.
yeah.
And then that for me, that was such a, yeah. I'm getting on the high road. Yeah.
Here's another thing that I'm quite liking about this new era of Survivor. As I was like watching some of the older ones, um, for the first time, it feels like advantages have consequences now.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Which is, it's like, if you like it used to be the case, you find an idol, cool, they can't vote for you. But now it's like you find an idol, but you lose your vote until something happens, so there's
Mm,
like a penalty for having that advantage. Or like with Prisoners Dilemma Island,
mm,
you have to play the advantage right, or else there is a penalty that you get. So like it I think it's really good that like the people that have advantages or have the potential to get advantages have some sort of price to pay for the advantage that they get,
mm. I get what you're saying. I get what
right?
you're saying.
Because
It's not just a straight up, okay, you have an advantage, you're gonna have it. Whatever happens, you're gonna have that, right? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It it
like
it adds a wrinkle to the whole thing. Yeah.
yeah, and like it makes like an advantage getting thing like not as likely, I would think. you know, because before that happens, you have to go through like potentially getting voted out because of not having an advantage or whatever. Like holding on to the advantage could be detrimental until something else happens. So there's an additional wrinkle, but that wrinkle is a downside instead of like it being just a complete upside that makes it kind of imba.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that was,
At least they've
only
sort of
something I
balanced.
noticed.
Yeah. That's a very good observation. Yeah, it's a they've made it balanced. They sort of downplayed the power or depowered the advantage enough for so that people still have to play the game, right? It's not just a matter of I have an advantage. Uh, you should be you're now at my beck and call. I've got all the
Yeah.
power here. No, there's something that you pay a price. You're right. You're right. That's a very good observation. Yeah.
Except Jenny though, that's like really sad. She played Prisoner's Dilemma Island exactly right, and she still got screwed.
But then again, that was because of the another person screw up.
Because of my low. That's
Yeah,
my low.
that's
for
also
the
my low.
episode.
But before we go there, let me go to one of my highs. My highs,
Yeah.
but before I go to my high, I have to admit I made a mistake. I made a mistake with my prediction last episode. I said that there was gonna be a tribe swap or merge, or yeah,
Yeah.
whatever by this episode. But then again, I started thinking about it as I was watching the episode. Wait, this is just episode 3. Why would they do that, right? And so I made a mistake. They didn't go down to 2 tribes. Instead, they stayed at 3. That's not a low because the high actually is because my boy Jonathan is such
Yeah.
a beast. Oh my gosh, he
God,
is
that was
such
so
a
good.
beast. If there was a winner's edit for just this episode, he has got to have gotten the winner's edit, especially with that during the immunity challenge. He went back for Omar, and then he went back for Marianne. He effectively pushed her onto the to where did she
Yeah.
needed to go. My gosh, he's Jonathan is a beast. He even got the cool background music. He even got a slow mo, right? He had a
Yeah.
slow mo moment where like it was really highlighting how really good he was, and he won the entire. He probably could have gone through the entire thing himself. He was the one who brought the ladder. The only difficulty would have been how he would have gotten the key, right?
Yeah.
Because he would have needed someone to go up the key while he was holding the ladder all by himself. Meanwhile, the other 2 tribes couldn't even put the ladder up, right?
Yeah.
That was so cool. That was so cool. Jonathan, oh my gosh. Among the 3 strong guys supposedly of each tribe, he's
Yeah.
definitely the strongest.
Does that mean he's the first boot come the merge?
He I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I hope not. I mean, we've had we've had we've had challenge beasts get far. Hopefully, he goes on an individual challenge streak so that he goes far in the game, because he's shown that he's got other dimensions to him as well. He's got some bit of a social game, and the
But you
fact
know
that
that.
he's so humble. I mean,
Yeah.
when Jeff was like praising him after the challenge, he was like, he was just he was just humble, right?
I think that's also sort of my up. Those are some of my ups for the season so far.
Mm,
How like there is that sort of subversion of expectations,
mm,
where like we expected Mike to be a certain way, but then as it turns out, no, the dude that's screwing things up is Daniel. We expected Jonathan to be sort of like a bit of a cocky meathead, but
mm,
like no, he's one of the most down to earth players that we've seen, and
mm,
like that's something really cool that's happening in the past 2 seasons that I've noticed.
mm,
Like
yeah.
they give a lot more, but one, they give a lot more depth. The cast seems to have a lot more depth, but like on top of that, they just seem to be just such cool people, you know. Like,
You're right. Yeah.
so I don't know. Maybe that's the new era of Survivor. Like, great casting.
Yeah. Well, if it is, if that is what Survivor is gonna be moving forward, then I'm all for it. I mean, at least we're done with the cookie cutter casting from seasons past, where like people had to fit a certain physical aesthetic, right? At least now
Yeah.
it's a more diverse cast. And it, like what you're saying, a lot of what's happening nowadays. It's especially in for this season, the past two seasons, right? It's there's a lot of subversion of expectations, right? And that's really cool. I'm all for subversion of expectations, right? So that your characters, your castaways are multidimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I just have a like speaking about the Taku tribe,
Mm.
who along with along with Ika were kind of purpled this episode. That's our the purples for the week. But going back to that, like Marianne did the Beware Idol, right?
Yes, yes,
Right.
she
She
did.
she did the Beware Idol.
Mhm.
Um, do you think it was a good move for Mike do you think it's a good move for Mike to wait for the other one to um be uttered
To
before,
say the phrase
yeah, before he
at
says anything?
at the time, I think that it was okay because he did explain it. He explained his reasoning, right? He didn't want other people to know that he had an idol until he needed to, because he could have waited until the merge. Because come the merge, whether or not the others say the phrase, all three idols gain the power, right? They become
Okay.
activated. Um, and aside from Jenny and Daniel and Chanel, nobody really knew in his tribe,
Yeah.
right? Well, that only left Lydia, and well, Lydia and Hai, right?
Hi.
So, I think that it was okay at the time, but now that it's out in the open in his tribe, I'm sure that he's gonna try and do it. Had they kept their numbers going to the merge, it would have been good. It would have been a good call, because that way it would have been there would have been a chance for the others to also get voted off, because
Mhm. Yeah.
they would have not have had a vote, and then it would have been easier for them to get voted off. Um, and less idols in play means that the idols in play are more powerful in that
Right.
sense, right? So yeah,
Here's
but
another.
yeah, go
Uh,
ahead.
I was just gonna say another question. Um, because you mentioned that the fine print, as Daniel puts it, says that it becomes a full idol once they merge.
Mm.
um that wasn't the case last season, right? Like last season it was the opposite. If it hits the merge and it isn't activated, it dies.
Mm.
I don't think they made a big deal out of it because like they eventually got the idol.
Mhm.
But the thing there was, once it hits the merge and the idols aren't activated, or the three-way idol isn't activated, you just lose the idol. Which design do you prefer?
Ooh, that's a good question. That is a good question. Huh. I think I would have preferred season 41's, because it creates a little bit more pressure on those who
Mm.
had the beware advantage to find a way to say it. Uh, and personally, I don't like the way that the discoverers of the idol of the beware advantage for this season have been using it. I'm not using it, but have been behaving with it. Uh, I I would have kept it to myself. I would have kept the beware advantage to
Mm.
myself until I needed to say divulge whether or not
Mm.
it is an advantage, right? But yeah, Mike, well, he really trusted Jenny, so
Yeah.
he told Jenny, and then he thought he needed to get a number in Daniel. That's why he used the beware advantage as a means to broker a deal with Daniel. But personally, I wouldn't have told anybody. I would have kept it to myself. I would have been a Nasir, right? I would have been a Nasir. I would have kept it to myself and then just blurted out the phrase as needed, right? So yeah, I also then yeah, Marianne like told everyone right away, and she was so happy about it. Now there's a huge target on her back, right? Because that's what
Yeah.
it does. That's what it does ultimately. It puts a target in your back. Like, okay, you have an advantage, and then what she tells everyone that she doesn't have a vote until it gets activated. So now you have a target in your back, and you're at a disadvantage because it will be easier to vote you out because you can't say you don't have a say, right?
So
So
what
I prefer
happens to,
season
I don't know.
41. I prefer season 41.
All right. Well, what happens to the idol? Did they ever, you know, did they ever I'm not sure if any of the other Survivor media or podcasts or whatever actually answered this, but what happens in the event that the person gets voted out? Like if Mike were to get voted out.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't. I'm leaving that to you. You're the podcast guy. I haven't been really looking at podcasts, but I would think that it probably will get back into. I mean, because it's an advantage that it's necessary for the other beware advantages to get activated. So I'm
Hmm.
sure that the producers will put it back into camp, just like before when you had hidden immunity idols, and then if someone gets voted off with it in their pocket without having used it, it gets put back in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. All right. I mean, I don't know.
What
What was
about
that?
you? What about you? Which one do you prefer?
I prefer this one.
Oh wow, why?
Um, because it's the risk reward of it.
Mhm.
Um, to get a full idol, but to do that, you have to suffer through not having a vote. So your social game has to be impeccable, or you have to be a challenge beast
Mm.
throughout the pre-merge. So it
Mm.
creates an incentive for either great social game or uh, challenge beastage.
Challenge beastage. Wow.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I like the design though. Like I
Mhm.
actually really like the design of the Beware Advantage, both in 41 and 42. Like creates just great it creates great television, you
Yeah.
know.
It adds a new dynamic to how the game is being played, and so far for the past two seasons it's been good. Yeah, like you said, it's been good television. I just hope that they don't do another Nasir all of a sudden. Right, that it was cool for 41, but after that, if they do it again, it gets old really, really quick. That kind of an edit. I hope that they do something else, right?
Yeah.
If they're gonna do if it's gonna get revealed pre-merge, yeah.
Yeah. But you know, that's really I just find the design of it so cool. Although in the subsequent seasons, I don't know how they're gonna do it. They probably have like a little like innocuous word or something, like the Wordle word for the day. They have to say it like
The Wordle word for the day. Wow. But how do they know what the Wordle word for the day is? But anyway, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that they're gonna have to change it. They're gonna have to change how it happens, how it's gonna get activated in subsequent seasons. Because the reason why it's working for the past two seasons is because season 42 didn't get to see season 41 when they played. Right? Yeah. So yeah, we'll see how they do it. We'll see how it happens. Anything else? Any other highs that you have?
oh, just another question. Do you know? And I just found it so adorable how Marianne like got to say the phrase. It was like,
Where's
huh,
their phrase again?
a thing about like a mailbox.
Oh, the was it a bunny or a rabbit?
Like the old tale about the rabbit in the mailbox or whatever.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Well,
Like
it was I'm not sure, but editing seems to have made it look like Jeff was giving her an assist. Right, right.
yeah,
He immediately went and asked Marianne a question. Right.
And then when and then I just found it just so funny. It was like, again, like watching the old seasons. It's like flashes of the previous Jeff, where like he asks her about it, she gives like some whatever answer, and he's like, okay, moving on. Like,
You could almost like hear like a cricket sound somewhere there.
yeah.
They could have like inserted a cricket sound somewhere there. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like flashes of the old Jeff that I found so like, oh, okay, moving on, or whatever it was that he said.
Yeah, but I think that he said moving on, or let's get right into it, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if that was the edit, or it was like just really Jeff saying like, okay, there's not going to be very much here.
There's nothing more that we can talk about. She talked about it, and it really doesn't remind me of anything. So let's move on. Right. That was kind of funny. That was kind of funny. Well, for me, I love the fact we're subverting expectations. The season 42 has been subverting expectations, and so much so that it's been screwing with the rules. Right. This season has been coming up with a lot of firsts, and I love the fact that it's doing that because it's pushing the producers to think up of new ways how to come up with things. Right. That whole thing with only two votes only two votes in the ballot for tribal, that was unprecedented, right? So it's really cool. It keeps the producers on their toes, and they're having to come up with new ways. I'm not sure. I don't think that they foresaw what happened in tribal to happen, right? With there only being two, and then they had to reveal who didn't vote. Now that creates a new wrinkle. Like, why doesn't Mike have a vote? Why didn't Chanel vote? And it also affects how Chanel revealed what happened on what did you used to call
Prisoner's Dilemma Island.
Prisoner's Dilemma Island. Yeah,
I don't know what the island is actually called.
Yeah. So what it creates a wrinkle. Now it now helps Lydia think of, okay, did Chanel tell me the truth when she came back regarding what happened on the island during the summit, right? So it's gonna add those different details into gameplay, and again, it forces not only the producers but the castaways as well. It's gonna force them to try something else, right? To do something new, right? Because I love the fact that it's just really screwing with the rules this season. This season has been screwing with the rules. I mean, they tried something new in 41. It's sort of more or less played out okay. 42, they tweaked what they did for 41, and it's now screwing with everything.
Yeah. Like, oh man, I wonder what the what city is going to look like now. What one the hourglass is going to look like, and what do or die is going to look like. I really like the design. I really like the design of do or die, the Monty Hall problem. But with the hourglass, I don't know. It's all right. I don't know if
would you still want it? Weren't you? What Martin was the one who didn't want to see the hourglass come back, right?
Yeah, I mean, now I'm kind of seeing Martin's point now. Like, yeah, kind of a dick move, Like, you tell somebody that they won immunity, only to in a twist say like, no, you didn't win immunity. Like,
you now have to vote out someone from your group, right?
Yeah, something like that. That was really like thinking about it. It feels like the hourglass treaded on sacred ground. Like those words, like X wins immunity is like the thing in Survivor that, well, one of the things in Survivor that ought to be unchanging.
Mm.
You know,
I can see your point. Yeah, I haven't really quite thought about that yet. Whether or not I was okay with it coming back. I'm okay with it either way. I haven't really thought about its effects and how it deals with with all of the staples of Survivor. But yeah, I can see your point and I can see Martin's point. Speaking of Martin, mga kalaro, we do have a new segment on the show, and it is called Martin's Thoughts. We reached out to the third Tito, the third member of the council. This is Martin's Thoughts.
Whose thoughts? And that's whose thoughts with Martin. I'm pretty high on Jonathan. Man, he is a one-man team. He literally carried, like, his tribe again to another immunity win. So props to Jonathan. That's whose thoughts? And that's whose thoughts with Martin.
And that is Martin's thought. So yeah, he agrees. He agrees with our high about Jonathan, about the challenge beast 3. How do you have it? The challenge beast 3 of Jonathan. Yeah, dude, he said it right. He literally carried his team to another immunity win. Quite literally, right? He was just wow. And yeah, thank you for that, Martin. Yeah, so now from the highs, we go to the lows. What's your low, Zhao?
Chanel. Chanel. I really like Chanel. You know, she was like one of those, like one of the cast that really stood out to me on the first day, even though she was our purple for the week. I was like, yeah, you know, that was I quite liked her. And she made the exact wrong move on Prisoner's Dilemma Island. Like, she
PDI.
might as well, right?
Let's call it the PDI.
The PDI.
The Prisoner's Dilemma Island.
Yeah. Yeah. Not to be confused with the newspaper here in the Philippines.
No. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, that move on the island.
Right? Like, after telling Omer essentially that, like, you know, tribal, I need my vote. Like, she was basically telegraphing to Omer that, like, yo, I'm gonna play it safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what one would need to do if they needed their vote.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of ties back to the thing about there being penalties now, which is an up, right? Like, for me, it's cool that there are penalties for playing advantages wrong, and it isn't, you know, necessarily just like, okay, your advantage is this imba thing that exists. And it's like the antidote to big move-itis, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like sometimes, right? As Survivor super fans get on the show, like, there is that tendency to want to play the big moves.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like the show is kind of disincentivizing big moves for the sake of big moves, which
Mm-hmm.
is an up. But unfortunately, that means Chanel gets the down.
We actually do have the same first down, right? It was, for me, that was such a stupid move by Chanel. Raya, risk your vote. She didn't think of the numbers. She definitely didn't think of the numbers. She knew that Mike didn't have a vote. She knew that it was gonna fall to her, Daniel, and Jenny against Lydia and Hai. Right? So, why would you risk your vote at that crucial time? it was so weird that she went ahead and risked her vote, and after, especially, yeah, you said it, especially after this, with the whole edit, like, the conversation, she told Omar that she couldn't afford to risk her vote. I was,
Yeah.
nah. So, well, yeah, one of the few after episode videos that I did watch was the exit interview of Jenny. And apparently Jenny did tell everyone what happened on the island.
Yeah.
And apparently Mike and Jenny told Chanel not to risk her vote.
Yeah. Big move itis.
Yeah. She tried. Oh, that was such. It was so weird because she already knew what she was supposed to do, and knowing Jenny, she probably told her the numbers,
Yeah.
right? Or at least with how we perceive Jenny as being the calculating person, she she knew the numbers, but she forgot about it because she wanted, yeah, big movitis. She wanted extra vote. Oh gosh.
Which, but then the saving grace
Hmm.
for my number two, Chanel. Chanel's my number two.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
if Hi's my number one, Chanel's my number two. Um, her saving grace is my second down.
Okay.
Daniel's performance at Tribal. Oh man,
yeah, go
like,
ahead.
oh my god. The the moment he said, "I'm not, like, let's begin with this premise. I'm not going to go to rocks," type of thing that might work in a courtroom. Not something that's good for negotiation. Because you're putting yourself at a disadvantage already, which my boy High was able to take advantage of, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, um, and in the process, throws his number one, Chanel, under the bus. So,
Exactly.
like, ooh.
That
So he
was
loses Jenny. He possibly loses Chanel, and he, and he puts High and Lydia on top, which
Mhm.
is, what he probably shouldn't have done for the sake of his game.
Mm. Yeah.
But then there's an up for editing, right? Because editing in the editors um in one of the confessionals pretty much had him say why he's not gonna win Survivor, and then, like,
Yeah, he
proceeded to
went
show
he
it.
went ahead. Yeah, he went ahead, and during tribal, he went ahead and said that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like, okay, there, and then proceeded to show not tell. you know?
yeah. Yeah, it was just, oh gosh, that was, we have the same second down. Uh, Gosh, Daniel is showing his background for me, because his background, his description, his lower third shows that he's a law clerk,
Mhm.
but he's actually worked in the campaigns of several politicians, and you can see how he is so much my the Tito in the in the other show always says, like, for example, if it's the PBA, the Philippine Basketball Association, he always says that the PBA is a microcosm of the Philippine government. So for me, what he did in that tribal shows how his behavior is so representative of how a lot of politicians actually behave. They were trying to look at all the he was trying to look at all of the ways so that he could come out smelling not as bad, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, because he didn't want to lose. That's why he said, I'm not going to go to rocks. I'm not going to go to rocks. There is very little risk for me, right? And then he goes ahead and throws Chanel under the bus, because he knows that'll only be two votes. If they move forward, it's only gonna be him and Chanel versus High and Lydia. right? So he throws Chanel under the bus because he's gonna get 2 votes on the other side. He's gonna have Lydia and Hai on the other side. Um, and it's also he even went as far as saying that he got backstabbed by Chanel, right? When he was the one
Yeah.
who was throwing her under the bus. It was such a politician move, or at least a traditional politician move, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, he even goes as far as like, Chanel, who do you want me to vote? As if he didn't have power, as if he didn't have agency in the vote.
Yeah.
He, he was really just he was, and then on the other side, he was like, "Will you take this against me? Are you gonna take the fact that I voted against Lydia the first time around against me? Lydia, are you going to take it against me?" Right? He's really just covering his ass, trying to minimize the damage on his reputation, which for me is already like obliterated at this point. So yeah, it's I don't know, Daniel. Even we've said about how we've talked about how it would be nice to hang out with him, but we don't want him to win. Right now, I'm starting to think, no, I don't think that I want to hang out with him either. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's that performance at Tribal was, oof. That was a great Tribal though.
Yeah, it
Like
was.
that's the that's the thing that I'm discovering, and that's the thing that I'm discovering with like Survivor these days. Bad moves make for great TV.
Because people who watch TV, people who watch television want the screw ups,
Yeah.
right? As much as we like the hero to overcome adversity, there has to be that adversity that needs to be created, right?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah,
So Daniel is becoming the one of the villains of this season. Huh?
yeah, he's becoming one of the villains of the season, and because of that villain, we lost. We lost Jenny. I was yeah, I was rooting for Jenny because she was like a puzzle beast. No,
That's my other down. Jenny getting
yeah,
voted out.
same with me. Yeah, oh gosh, Jenny got voted out. And she was so
Through
nice. She was so nice. She was really good on puzzles.
through no
Uh,
fault of her own,
yeah,
because
that's
she played it so well.
mhm. it, she. It was as if she was one of the few castaways who was really thinking.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just an experience for her. It wasn't just something that she wanted to go through. She was really thinking. Okay, that's why she didn't risk her vote when she went to the summit during that first summit on PD Island. Let's call it PD Island. Uh, and then she was honest because she disclosed everything, and then she was strategic. It's just that everyone else who played who she played with didn't want to follow her strategy. And that's why.
This
Yeah.
is this is what Jeff Probst was saying. Like I guess this is what Jeff Probst meant when he told Ricard last season that sometimes the best players don't ever win.
Yeah. Yeah. Because yeah, while we are happy, yeah, we are happy that Erica won. The card was also like one of the one of the front runners because he was like
Yeah.
he was playing the hell out of the game. Just didn't get all the way to the end. Had he gotten
Yeah.
to the end, it would have been harder for them to just go ahead and give Erica the win. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what the edit told us.
Yeah. Yeah, at least that's what the edit told us.
Because like looking at all of the other media, like the interviews and all of that, like again going back to our thoughts from season 41, it was really sad that we didn't get to see Erica's game.
Mm.
We were only told about Erica's game by somebody that didn't vote for her.
Mm. Yeah. Oh
Anyway.
gosh. Anyway, we go back to our new segment. Here is Martin's thought on his low.
With Martin.
Martin.
He starts with Martin. Martin. For the low, well, let's just say the Green Tribe was on an all-time low, especially that dude, Daniel, I think, who didn't want to go to Rocks. He pulled off a Jonathan Cochran, like what Cochran did back in South Pacific, because he didn't want to go to Rocks. So how fast is this gonna be for him to be derailed like Cochran? I doubt he makes it to the merge. If he makes it to the merge, good on him. But he ain't gonna last. That's who starts. And that's who starts with Martin. Martin.
Wow. Martin, again, same thing with us.
Taking it one step further.
Yeah.
Saying that he's not going to make it to the merge.
He's not going to make it to the merge, whether by medevac, maybe his shoulder will pop out again, or just because he doesn't really have any more social capital, I think, in the game. I don't think that he's got any more social capital unless he gets swapped out to another tribe. Then he can go ahead and start all over. But right now, with in his current tribe, I don't think that he's got any social capital left. He's whether he goes with Mike and Chanel or with Lydia and Hai, he's at the bottom of those two groups. He's not. Yeah, he's not, and he's not in the inner group, inner workings of those groups. Wow.
Very, them's be big words from Martin that he's not gonna make it past the merge.
Yeah.
There are rumors going around that next episode is there's gonna be like a swap.
Oh, so next step. So I was just off by one episode. I don't
know. Those are the rumors going around, but it could have just been somebody from Reddit that really wants to swap.
Just like how I really wanted to swap. No, I
really wanted it too. That would have been so cool, bro. Yeah,
I just misheard, or I jumped to conclusions when I heard that thing. Okay, and now we're also introducing something new with each and every episode that we're gonna do from now on.
New era.
Yeah, the new era. We're just in episode 4, but we're already in the new era. So Jao and I are gonna give our best, worst, our best castaway of the episode, our worst castaway of the episode, and the purple castaway of the episode. All right, so let's start with the best. Who was your best castaway of this episode, Jao?
Bro, it's a 50-50 between Hai and Jonathan. I can't decide for two very different reasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one was outwit and one was like outplay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah. Wow, we're in agreement there. They're actually also my best. Like Martin said it best. Jonathan literally carried his team to the immunity win, and then our points for your boy Hai has you still going high on high, and now I'm getting on the high road. So Jonathan and Hai, they're the best castaways of the episode, and I don't think that there was anyone else close to them being the best of this episode. What about your worst?
And I'm guessing we're in agreement that it's Daniel and Chanel. Heartbreaking for me.
Heartbreaking, yeah, because Chanel's your number 2. Actually, for me, I only have Daniel on my worst. But I do understand how Chanel, because of that bungle, that really huge bungle on PD Island. That was I think that Daniel's behavior for me overshadowed that mistake by Chanel, because if he had not actually said that opening statement, they would have had a little bit more wiggle room to try and bring Hai over to their side. Yeah. Now, what about your purple? Who is the purple for this week?
Can we say that the whole Ika tribe was purple this week?
No, we also agree on that. The entire Ika tribe, we hardly saw them. We just saw how like Roxroy was having so much trouble. And the highlight for them for this week was Roxroy and Tori arguing about where to put that ladder. Tori said, try to find, what was she saying? A shallow part. I am trying. That was the highlight for their tribe. Aside from that, nothing else.
Well, we also get Roxroy almost drowning, right?
Yeah. But that oh gosh, I don't know if I would have been able to survive that kind of a challenge with all of that with those waves, right? So hard. And it wasn't just a matter of the swells. It was also the current, the undercurrent was like taking them away from the
the other purple that I'm seeing is Lindsay. Right? Because like she didn't get anything this episode.
Wasn't she also your purple for like the last episode?
I'm starting to think that it's just me, like, and my difficulty with like seeing middle-aged white ladies. I don't know. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. I find it difficult to on TV to differentiate like white people. But Omer had his thing with Chanel. Marianne had the idol thing.
Jonathan had his thing.
Had his,
yeah,
carrying thing. And Lindsay had
nothing. Yeah. Come to think of it, nothing. He wasn't.
Right? So I don't know.
Wasn't around.
So I guess it's the Ika tribe and Lindsay.
Ika tribe and Lindsay. So yeah, those are our best, worst, and purples of the week. Now we go to final thoughts and predictions. What are your final thoughts and predictions for what's going to happen next episode or for the next few episodes?
The same stuff as 41. Actually, here's my question for you for the moving forward. Do you think Daniel can pull it out? Do you think Daniel can save himself?
So that goes into my final thought and prediction. One of mine. I actually think that Daniel is on a downward spiral. Because of, like I said, he's on the bottom of both groups. Whether or not he's with Hai and Lydia, or with Mike and Chanel, that pairing is also not too stable. So he's at the bottom of either. But whether or not that's stable, he's still at the bottom. He's still number 3 there, right? Because he basically burned his bridge with Chanel, and he just cost Mike's number 1 to get voted out, right? So he doesn't have any social capital there. On the other side, despite them saying that they're not going to take it against him, despite Hai and Lydia saying that they're not going to take it against him, I don't think that they trust him enough. So yeah, he, barring a swap or anything like that, he's on a downward spiral. And aside from the fact that he keeps losing stuff, he's just not a very nice character to watch right now on television.
What was the thing that Mike called him? Squirrely or something?
Something like that. Yeah. When he started asking for the immunity idol again.
Yeah. And then Chanel called him a snake. He's like, yeah, we're gonna have to get Omer in here to operate on him. Ooh. Ooh.
All right. Any other final thoughts and predictions?
Whatever is on the next time on Survivor is probably a red herring. Like I'm starting to I'm becoming conditioned for that. Like it's probably some sort of red herring. You know, Jonathan is probably going to just say something annoying, and there's going to be like a little bit of hullabaloo around it, but at the end of it all, it's going to be like kumbaya. Not yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the drama they were playing up in in the next time. Although I
Yeah.
do look forward to the what was it that Mike said? Like it's not kumbaya,
It's something else. Yeah. I forget.
Yeah. I should have actually written
It's
that down.
kum something.
Yeah, like oh my god, baya or something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that though. Like I
Mm.
really want to see the fallout, you
Yeah.
know, of this tribal.
Mhm.
That's something that I like that Survivor is doing now. Like like starting the next episode with the fallout and like having it directly after tribal
Yeah.
with all the night vision like cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess moving forward, yeah, I agree. Daniel is probably going to be on the outs. um I, I I predict that next time they're going to show Tori getting the beware advantage, right? Because you know they pretty much spoiled that in the preseason material, right? Saying the third phrase, a lady saying the third phrase, and then cutting to Tori there. So you know, my guess is they're going to be showing her next episode. Um, and Marianne and Mike are going to get their idol. Mike is going to get his vote back, and we say goodbye to Daniel.
So you're predicting that the idols are gonna get activated by next episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, one thing that I do predict is that we're gonna see a lot more Ika. Then we hardly saw them. They were really purple for this episode. We hardly saw them. But yeah, for the next episode, we're gonna it goes into your prediction that we're gonna see Tori getting the beware advantage. So yeah, I do think that we're gonna see a lot more Ika next episode.
I mean, you know, I'm that much I'm pretty sure of. But you know, what I would like to happen is, yeah, Marianne and Mike get their idols, but you know, are they? But then, by like Mike saying like, no, I'm not going to say anything until the second person says something. Is that setting up Mike not saying anything?
I'm thinking that he's probably not gonna do that anymore because who gave him that advice? Daniel.
Daniel.
Daniel gave him that advice, and he don't trust Daniel no more. Right? So I think that he's playing. At the very least, I think that he is of the. He's already convinced that he's playing for himself until maybe a tribe swap or a merge. Until that day comes, though, I think that this is me getting on the high road. He is ascending to the throne. We might be seeing the start of a winner's edit because he's being shown in a good light. And we did start at the start of the season, or at least in episode 2, we did see him go through something, a sort of existential crisis, right? So now we're starting to see how he goes up. We're seeing his calculating side. So yeah, that's my another one of my predictions. So I'm getting on the high road, man. Now this is something that I want to ask you. I have a question for you. You've always been able to find the theme for the past couple of episodes. What in your estimation is the theme for this episode?
Downfall.
Downfall. Nice.
But then I can't, but then I don't know. But then with Jonathan, it's sort of that contrast, right? Because like it's the contrast between downfall and triumph, like that sort of interplay there.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So there it is. Any other final thought and prediction?
I say we cut to Martin.
Okay. Let's go ahead and bring out Martin's final thought.
He starts with Martin. Martin. Finally, on the next episode, I believe it may be the Green Tribe again losing. I don't know. It's like something that I feel is gonna happen to the Green Tribe like it did on 41. At first, you thought they'll be 6 strong in the merge, and then it'll be all down to 2. And who may be the final 2? I'm high on High, and maybe on Lydia too. And that's Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin. That's Martin's thoughts. And that's Martin's thoughts with Martin. Martin.
Anyway, yeah, so wow. All right. Martin points out something really interesting. How in 41, it was also the Green Tribe that was going through all of this adversity where you thought that they were so strong and then they got whittled down. Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. That's a pretty good observation on Martin. Wow. Good one on that, Martin.
So the cursed tribe is the green one.
The Green Tribe. Wow. And to think that on the Green Tribe we had Shan and Ricard, two of the strongest players, and then here on this tribe, well, Jen got voted out already, but Hai is there. He's like one of the strongest players. I mean, people who are playing the game, right? Where it's not just an experience for them. But so you do see that. No, it's a recurring theme. You think that that's something that they think about? Oh, the Green Tribe should have these kinds of players. This is the personalities that should be on this tribe.
they were trying to put the sneaky ones on the Green Tribe, but like instead
of that, they got a Daniel and they got a Chanel.
That's what we were thinking, right? Like if we were to draw the parallel, right? If we were to draw the parallel, I was thinking that maybe they could be setting up Daniel and Chanel as sort of like the Shannon Ricard of the season, like, masterfully blindsiding and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently not.
Apparently not. Or who knows? They might be blindsiding everyone. They're playing the whole field, right? Who knows? That might have been a play for them. Oh, throwing under the bus. I'm throwing you under the bus, but they're still playing the game. They're trying to stir things up. Who knows?
That's next level.
That would be really cool. That would be a nice, yeah. If that happens, I'd go with you and say that Chanel will be a next level strategist. I just don't think that Daniel's capable of doing that kind of strategy.
But if that was, it would be like Chanel and Daniel all the way, bro.
Yeah. So yeah. Wow. That would be cool if that happens. All right. And that is it for this episode of the Council of Titos. It looks like things are starting to heat up in the different tribes as next episode seems to be explosive. Operative word, seems. Now, if you liked our video, please hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. Also, consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever we come up with new content on the Laro-Laro Lang channel. This channel has other shows on it focused on sports and other similar things. Anyway, this has been Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon.
I'm Vice Chief Bisdak Zhao.
We hope that you can join us on the next council next time. Until then, stay safe, everyone. The Titos have spoken.